Hello my fashionistas, you're welcome to Yvonne Winifred G. So this is the beautiful dress that we are making today. It's kind of a kimono sleeves, round skirt, or even kind of an added pleat at the center front of the skirt. But you know what? Let's get into the video and make this dress. This is the fabric I'm working with today. It has blue and some pink colors in it. So it is on straight like this, and then I'm folding it diagonally like this to make two pieces. So it's not folded into four, it's just folded into two. We are going to cut the front skirt first, and I'm going to consider the round skirt. I'm not considering the way we cut the circle skirt, but if you want you can do so. But this time around, this is the method I'm using. So I'm dividing my the waist measurement I'm working with by 4 inches. I place my tape rule like this. Whatever I get is what I mark like this, the way you're seeing the tape measure, and then just notch or mark the point where that measurement is located, across like that, and just notch where the measure is located, where the measurement is located. So afterwards I measure from the top to where I've marked that point where our measurement is located. So on this side I'm getting about 12 inches, and the other side I'm getting, I think, 11 inches. So in this case I'm going to consider one of those measurements. So I consider 12 inches, and I measured 12 inches from the top here going downwards to mark my waist measurement. So I consider 12 inches, but afterwards I measured to see whether it will give me the exact waist measurement I'm working with. So it was a little bit too much, so I again went ahead and I considered the 11 inches. So I considered 11 inches, and this is what I worked with. So I marked the points, connected them, then I got this as the waist measurement. So from there I just added half an inch as the joining allowance for my skirt, just like that. So I consider the way we cut round skirts, not circle skirts. There is a difference, guys. So from there, from my actual waist measurement mark, I marked the skirt length. It was, I think, about 38 inches there. So from the top here, the waist measurement mark going down, I marked 38 inches, just going on changing the tape rule, and afterwards I just cut it out. So what I'm cutting now is just for the front skirt, and I'm going to use this to cut out my back panel. So opening it up, it is like this. So it's kind of a circle still, or an A line, but I just wanted to consider this method. But another thing is I didn't consider that kind of a pleat in the middle as you've seen on the thumbnail. I'm just leaving it out. So bringing my front piece, I place it onto the back like this. So in this case I forgot, I was supposed to consider some zipper allowance onto the other downer fabric, but I forgot. But the good thing, I was working with some too much measurements. Like the measurements I'm working with here, it is a little bit too much. Okay, there is an excess, so in that case I was helped. But if you're cutting yours, consider the zipper allowance at the back panel of the skirt, just at the center back. So now I have my pieces front and back. One is supposed to be bigger than the other, but I forgot. So moving on, we have to cut the upper bodice, or the bodice, the top part, the blouse part. So I've marked a line there that will work as my shoulder line on the top here. So from that shoulder line, I'm now marking the length of the top. So I'm working with about 16.5 inches. the half bodice is 16 inches. So from the top again, I mark my bust line at around 9 inches. So usually at the shoulder line we mark shoulder measurement of 8 inches, but this case I'm marking 12 inches, finishing allowance included, since it is kind of a kimono sleeve as you've seen in the thumbnail. So from that 12 inches I'm going down by 8 inches for my sleeve opening. So where the 12 inches end, I'm going to move in by half an inch like that, just to mark out the sleeve opening very well. This is a kimono kind of kimono bodice that we are considering. So if you don't do too much, like beyond 12, because you will end up with kind of a cap sleeve, and if you do too small, it won't look so nice. So consider your measurements well. So from there, just carve out towards the bust measurement. Still, the bust measurement divided into 4, and that is where you connect that curve onto. So up here I have to slant the shoulder line onto the neck width. So I'm working with neck width of 4 inches, and then connect the shoulder slant onto that 4 inches like that. So you can even work with 1.5 inches as the shoulder slant, 1.5, even 2 for the shoulder slant. So my neck depth, I'm working with 5 inches, but as you've seen in the thumbnail, that kind of V-neck shape is kind of deeper. It's a deeper one, so you can consider about 7 inches or 8 inches, but for modesty I worked with 5 inches, guys, and then added the shoulder joining allowance on top here of half an inch, and that marks out the, all that. After, I have to again divide my waist measurement by 4, and whatever I get, I add 1 inch for that and 1 inch sewing allowance. But if you don't want to consider that, you can leave it out, and just make sure it is just tight around the waist, and you will look smart. So now I just cut out my front bodice or front panel just as you see, and use it to cut the back panel. So before that, I have to consider where my dart will be. So the bust span I'm working with is 8 inches. Dividing it by 2, I get 4. That is where I mark. So I mark about 4.5 there. Half inches for joining allowance. So now I get another piece of fabric folded into 2, so that I cut out my back panel. So as you are placing this front panel, you have to make sure you leave about 1 inch for the zipper allowance onto this back panel. So then after I considered the 1.5 inches for my back depth, the neck depth, and then I cut everything out just the same as we did for the front. The back depth is 1.5 inches. Remember to notch where the dart is, and also your zipper allowance. So after there, I cut 4, actually there were 4 pocket pieces, as you see, the length being 9 inches and pocket opening being about 7.5 inches. So I have 4 pieces for my pockets, and I've also cut out some facings for my back and front pieces, the bodice pieces, as you see. So this is how I'm going to sew or join these facings onto the main fabric. So right sides facing each other, I'll just place it like this. This is for the front, guys, and so by half an inch. I'll do the same even for the back. right sides facing each other, and then join along like that to get something like this. So this is the facing, well joined, so you can make small cuts so that it can be folded very nicely. So I'll just go ahead and iron that. And I also took in my darts, as you see, so that this is the back and this is the front. Again, the facing is well joined and it will be inside like that. Remember, this is the right side, and also the darts are taken in. Remember, the front dart is always 1 inch below the bust line, and the back dart is always 1 inch above the bust line. That is for their length. So now bringing my front piece, the 2 front pieces, that is the skirt and the top, I will join them and take them to the sewing machine and join them. But now this is the back. So remember, the back we have a zipper allowance, or a zipper that will go in the middle there, so I'll have to cut them into 2. And after cutting them into 2, I'll go ahead and join my pocket pieces, still right sides facing each other. That is the pocket opening of about 7.5 inches, and I'll leave about 3 inches from the waist, going down 3 inches. Then I'll join onto the sides of the skirts, those pocket pieces. So this is me cutting my back into 2. So I have to shape out my back, so I'm going to measure 1/2 inch from the center back and then cut off that excess going up onto that upper center back, just as you see here, 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do the same. So the 1/2 inch that we are cutting off is just onto the waist, it's just along the waistline. Up here along the neckline, you don't consider it, you just connect going up kind of in a diagonal. So after that, I also cut my skirt back piece into 2 like this. Remember, I had excess, but if not, this measurement wouldn't have been enough. I thank God I had excess. So now I'm just going again to pin everything together, the back panels top to bottom, and go ahead and join it, attach the pockets also, and then I'll show you what next. So this is it after joining, guys. I've joined, the pockets are also joined like that, even the shoulders are joined, as you see. So I went ahead and joined my back to the front, but along the shoulder line, as you see, by 1/2 inch, joining, main fabric to main fabric, and even the facing to facing by 1/2 inch. So I've also finished one of the armholes, or the sleeve opening, not the armholes, the sleeve opening, and I'll finish the other after. So, and this is what we have now, and this is the front. So I'll just take all this back to the sewing machine, right sides facing each other, and I'll join the sides, attach the zipper, finish the hemline, and that will be all. So this is it, guys. This is the sleeve opening. I just double folded and finished it very neatly. So I joined my front to the back by 1/2 inch, coming like this, and then along the pocket just like this, and then continued onto this side up to the bottom, and also did the same to the other side. After finishing the sleeve opening, I came down like this, sewing. Instead of going down straight, I just go around the pocket and then continue down. After there, I hem this bottom very neatly again by double folding, and then attached the zipper. I joined the center back at the bottom, and then guys, the dress is done. Very done. If you have any questions, kindly drop them in the comment section and I will answer you. So this is the dress, guys. This is how the sides look like, and this is the pocket opening. Very neatly done. The zipper at the back is attached, as you see. Everything is joined well. I can just take this dress, iron it very neatly and very well, give it a good pressing, and that is all, guys. The dress is done. Everything's done. Kindly just like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe.